Hey everyone, Sarah Squares here, the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Coach. I've been putting together top 10 narcissist strategies and sharing them daily on my social media, but I wanted to put it all together in one place so it was easy for you to access. So here we go. Number one is they lack empathy. No surprise there, you know this. They don't give a damn how you feel. They will do anything they can to ruin your happiness. If you're excited about something, they'll do whatever they can to put a spanner in the works. But how do you counteract that? So the first thing is don't rely on anyone else to validate you or your feelings. Teach your children to respect themselves and be happy in their own skin. Work daily on yours and their self-esteem. Pay each other regular compliments. Trust yourself and your children to make decisions and involve kids in family meetings and choosing their own consequences. Kids have a very good moral compass and they know that they should be punished for certain things. The most important thing, though, is to model empathy by showing concern for others' feelings. Number two is they create anxiety. The phrase walking on eggshells is often used, but to me, that really minimizes what this is about. A narcissist doesn't have a trigger. There's no, oh, if I do that, then they'll kick off. But if I don't, then everything will be fine. They will kick off for no reason. And that leaves you feeling like you can't breathe because it might piss them off. And so you keep your feelings in, you become a shell of the person that you were because you constantly feel like you don't want to upset them. And your kids do the same. Your kids won't want to make a noise. They won't want to do this, that, and the other because they're scared that the narcissist will kick off. So how do we counteract that? Well, the first thing is to be consistent with your discipline and help your child to understand and recognize their emotions. We all feel angry, we all feel sad, we all feel fear, we all feel happy. These are perfectly normal and natural emotions. Helping your child to learn how to manage those negative emotions will help them to see that the narcissist behavior isn't normal. And it comes from you again. You need to model how to handle your own anger. So when you are annoyed, as we all do, how do you handle that? Do you hold your breath and count 10 or do you go like a bottle of pop? Whatever you do is how your children is going to learn how to handle it. So think about that. Number three is they use negative reinforcement, and this follows on perfectly from number two. So negative reinforcement ultimately is you do something they don't like, they kick off big time, they shout in your face, they may use violence, they certainly use intimidation, and you learn not to do that again because it might pee them off and you don't want that reaction. And that's what negative reinforcement is. So you counteract that by using powerful positive reinforcement. So if your child does something that you don't like, ignore it. Unless it's hurting someone, ignore it. The second they stop doing that behavior, reward them. It's like dog training, basically. The second a dog does what you want them to do, you're giving them the treat. The same with children. The second they do what you want them to do, so the second they stop doing the behavior, lots of reward. Oh, I love you. You're great. You're brilliant. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. Hugs, really over the top so that they recognize it. They may start doing that behavior again, ignore it the second they stop. Lots of positive praise. It is hard. It takes a lot of self-discipline on your part, but it works. And you'll soon find that kids start doing really good behavior and going, Mummy, Mummy, look, or Daddy, Daddy, look what I've done, because they want that positive reinforcement. And remember, the narcissist is always using negative reinforcement. They are always punishing them. So if you punish them, it's gonna have lost its impact because they're used to that. So positive is going to stand out so much more, and it boosts their self-esteem. Number four, gaslighting. This is actually just a narcissist term in itself. It came from a film, and it's a manipulation tactic used by narcissists to get their victims to question their memory, perception, and sanity. An example would be that they tell you that I'm going to be home at 6:30. Can you make sure my dinner's ready? They don't get home till 7:30. The dinner's burnt and ruined, and they kick off and say, I said I was going to be home at 7:30 and I wanted my tea ready and you haven't done it. And you say, no, you didn't. It was 6:30. No, I didn't. I didn't say 6:30. I said 7:30. And eventually you do start thinking, well, did I get it wrong? So best way to do that is one, knowing that they're going to do that. They're going to use this tactic. They're going to lie and they're going to try and confuse you. Everything they do is to unsettle and confuse you. So I always work on the assumption that they're lying. 99% of the time, I'm going to be right. They're going to be lying. On the 1% that I'm not, I will hold my hands up and say that I'm sorry, I was wrong. But usually I'm not. So it's about teaching your children to be confident in themselves and that they can protect them from these underhand tactics. Once you know that it's happening, then you're aware of it. Recording everything as well from an adult point of view, not to show them because they'll still deny it, but for you, so that you can look at the text or look at what you've written down and go, I see, I knew they said 6:30. And it stops you from doubting yourself. And trust your gut, trust your instincts, encourage your children to trust their instincts, talk to them about what their feelings are, and encourage them to go with that. Number 5, they wear down your self-esteem. They criticize everything. They will know what your weaknesses are because they put them there. You would have told them when you first met them. You're an open book. That's the sort of person you are. You wear your heart on your sleeve. You would have maybe said, "Oh, I'm a little bit self conscious about the size of my nose." So they will start subtle things like, "Oh, stick your big nose out of it," and then, "Oh, I was only joking." But it wears it down. Gradually, it will wear it down until you think that they're right and you're wrong, and you're so low in confidence that they control every aspect of your life. So how to counteract is to work on yourself and your children and make sure that your self-esteem is being boosted every single day. Make personal praise a habit. When you've done something, tell yourself, brilliant, well done, good job. Pay compliments to yourself and each other. Love unconditionally. Give children appropriate responsibilities so that they grow confident in their own abilities, and involve them in decision making so that they learn to trust themselves. Number 6 is isolation. The narcissist wants to keep you isolated, and this is the best analogy I can give. When you met them, you may have been like a wounded animal, and they gave you medicine, they gave you bandages, and you started to feel better. And as you started to feel better as a wild animal, obviously you want to go back outside into the wild, so you start sniffing around the door, looking out windows. The narcissist hates that, and so they will break your leg, or they will do something to make sure that you can't then escape, because they don't want you to see the outside world, they don't want you to see the truth, and they don't want to see what they've created. And what will happen is you'll stop seeing your friends and family because it creates such a row. And also, you may even isolate yourself, because if you've shared with your friends and family how awful it is, they're going to get frustrated with you. They're going to be saying, well, why haven't you left? If it's so bad, why aren't you doing that? Not understanding how hard it is to leave someone like this. And so you may stop seeing them yourself because you don't want to disappoint them. So the best way to do that is just to be honest. Tell them the truth of what is happening. Tell them how hard it is. Believe your children. Whatever your children say, if they're scared of something, if something's happened, absolutely believe them and get the evidence that you need. Ensure that you stay connected. Ensure that you keep in touch with friends and family, and make sure that your children have outside friends. Do not let shame or embarrassment keep you from the people you love. Your children need a strong support network, and so do you. Number 7 is they play mind games constantly. You never know what's happening. They do this to make sure that they are seen as the most important one, and to make sure that you don't know what's going on. You're confused. You can't possibly get one step ahead of them when they're constantly changing the goalposts. And that's not true, actually. You can, and that's what all these strategies are about. So the first step, keep a record of everything. This isn't just about offering them facts because they'll continue to deny them, but also to keep your own sanity, like I said before. Always be truthful with your children about ensuring that information is age appropriate. So talk to them about what's going on, and make sure that they know that you know it's not okay. Teach your children and yourself to trust yourself. Trust is something that's destroyed by a narcissist, and I was speaking to someone the other day about this. First step is to recognize that you've made lots of great decisions in your life. Write a list of them. That's a great place to start, and encourage your children to do that and congratulate them when they make a good choice. Number 8 is fear of punishment, and this links in with what we've spoken to before, is that you change your behavior because you don't want to be hurt, obviously. You don't want to be shouted at. You don't want your children to be hurt or your property destroyed. And if they use that as a threat, that will happen if you go against them, then you will be obedient. So how do you counteract that? Well, for your children, you are consistent with your discipline. You make sure that you give lots of positive reinforcement, but also that they know a certain action is a certain consequence. And involve your children in those family discussions around behaviour. Make sure that they know what behaviour is, etc. Ask them, what sort of home do you want to live in? How do you think we all should behave? And make sure that you are all behaving in that, you all adhere to it. Positive reinforcement trumps everything else. Okay. Number 9 is projection, and we all have experienced this. Basically, they will project all of their bad behaviour and qualities onto you, because partly because they don't recognise their own behaviour, but also they're not going to take responsibility and display any empathy. So if they're angry, then they'll tell you that they're angry because they don't know how to. They can't recognise it. They never went through that stage in childhood where someone helped them to recognise what emotions are, so they put it all on you. So how to counteract that? Well, teach yourself and your children to be in touch with your own feelings so that you can recognise whether you feel it or not. So when they turn around and say, oh, you're so angry, or you're so this, you're so that, you can recognise, actually, no, I'm not angry, I don't feel angry at all. But if no one said that to you, if no one said, well, this is what happens when you feel angry, or this is what happens when you feel sad, or whatever it is, then, and someone tells you that you are feeling that way, you may believe them. You may believe, oh, right, so I'm angry, am I? This is what angry is. And it distorts your emotions and your feelings. So, like I say, once you recognise that and you encourage your children to know what those mean, they can't project onto you. And the final one, which is probably one of the most painful, is they love bomb, discard, repeat, love bomb, discard, repeat. They will push and pull you and the children. They'll want you 1 minute, not want you the next. Love you 1 minute, not love you the next. Truth is, they never love you. They just, do they need you at this moment in time, or do they not? And they do it so that you don't have a clue what's going on. And they think that you're going to work even harder to keep them. So they will push and pull. And when they discard, it feels like the most painful thing in the world, because it's created an addiction. The addiction cycle is the highs and lows, and that's exactly what a narcissist does, and that is why it's so painful. So to counteract this for you and your children, be consistent with your parenting. Again, same message all the time, be consistent, but have family rules which you all adhere to, and if it's safe, get out of the relationship and never go back, no matter what promises they make. They'll never follow through on them. Establish strong boundaries for you and your children, and that is so important. So there we go. If you'd like further support, you can visit my website, which is www.thenurturingcoach.co.uk. Visit the fan page, which is facebook.com/the nurturing coach. If you're trying to co-parent with a narcissist, we have the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/co-parenting with a narc. We've also got the YouTube channel, and if you need one-to-one, do email me at enquiries@thenurturingcoach.co.uk. Have a great day and speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.